Hello and welcome to my channel. I am so excited that you are here. Today I want to talk to you about why most people get stuck around money, why most people will never really make more money than they're making right now. Most people kind of plateau out around their income, and how to make sure that's not you. I can't wait to dive into this with you today, so go grab a tea, water, coffee, your drink of choice, get cozy, and let's chat. All right, I've got a pretty blunt question for you today. Are you actually ready for more money? Now, I'm gonna guess that your answer is, yeah, duh, of course I am. And you're not alone. I'd wager that 99.9999999% of people would say the same thing. And why not? The idea of winning the lotto or having your business take off and all of this money just come pouring in overnight, it feels really great to think about, right? And we think, of course, I'll feel great when that happens. Of course, I'm ready for that. Of course, I would love for that to happen today. But here's the truth that I've realized over the last several years of doing my own inner work, growing my business, making exponentially more and more money, and helping thousands of other people to do the same. What's holding most people back from more money is that they simply aren't ready for more money. As much as people think they're ready for more money to come pouring in, they're not. And why is that? It's because they're not thinking the thoughts of someone who already has all the money that they desire. Now stay with me for a minute. What I mean here is that they are still going about their day thinking, feeling, and acting at their current level of wealth. They're fixating, whether consciously or subconsciously, on the things that reaffirm to them their current financial reality. We've all heard the saying a million times, right? That says, what you focus on grows. So if you're focusing on what currently is, meaning your current level of wealth, day in and day out, then you're just creating more of that for yourself. You're creating a kind of prison for yourself because you're recreating what you already have over and over and over again by focusing on the same things, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same way, approaching things the same way, taking the same actions over and over and over. Just gets the same results over and over and over. It's again like that other saying of doing something a million times and expecting a different result is insanity. That's what people say is the definition of insanity, right? If you want more money, but you keep doing the same things day in, day out, internally and externally, you're going to stay at the same level of money that you have. It's insane to think, I will just continue staying on autopilot or doing the same exact things I always do, and somehow I'll magically start making more money. But this is what most people do, is they dream of more. They dream of more money, more abundance, more wealth, more freedom, more prosperity, and yet they don't dare to act or think or feel like the version of them would when all that money shows up. They don't dare to act differently. They don't dare to be different than they currently are at their current level of wealth. Most people wait for the money. They think that money will change their lives and that it'll change them, but it won't. And with this line of thinking, there are really only two possible outcomes. The first option is they will continue to recreate the same level of wealth for themselves day in and day out and never really make much more or have much more available to them than what they currently do. The second option is that they may reach a new level of wealth, but then recreate their old patterns within that new level of wealth. This is why we see so many lotto winners go broke. And this is why most people will forever stay stuck around money. I experienced this in my teens and early 20s because I had this belief that I always just had barely enough money. I never really had more than enough money. That was the reality I had at that time, was I always had just enough to pay the bills, get the necessities, rarely enough to do anything really extra or fun or take trips or anything like that. And so I really had this thought pattern constantly of I always have just enough money. I barely have enough money. I never have more than enough money. These were the thoughts that kind of kept going on a loop in my head. I stayed in that state for almost 10 years because I just kept thinking, I'll keep working and then one day money won't feel so hard to make because I'll be making more of it somehow. I'll keep grinding away and hustling and pushing myself and burning out like I'm told to do and keep getting promotions at work and squeaking out a little bit more money and a little bit more money. And hopefully one day I will have more than enough, and once I have more than enough, then it won't feel like I barely have enough, which is a lot of how we're taught to approach money in our society, right? This is not an uncommon story, but I stayed stuck in that state, in that reality with money where I always had just enough, barely enough for almost 10 years. When it finally changed wasn't when I started making more money, because there were times I had big jumps. I almost doubled my salary at one point when I got a promotion or when I switched jobs. And what happened was, even though more money was coming in, all of a sudden I somehow had more expenses because I subconsciously created more needs to spend my money, or I didn't have good budgeting habits in place yet. And so I just kept kind of spending and not realizing, being like, why is the money going out even faster? Why do I still have just enough even though I'm making so much more than I did last year? I don't understand why. Why is this so hard? Why are all these unexpected expenses popping up? To me, it felt like the world was really against me, or that I was having bad luck. Now, in retrospect, I can see that because I continued to have this thought of, I always have just barely enough. I never have more than enough. Then that was what I kept perpetuating for myself, whether consciously or not, no matter how much money was coming in. So I kind of fell into that second option I just talked about, where I did have moments where I would make more money, but I would recreate the old patterns within that new level of wealth. It wasn't until I started choosing to believe that I had more than enough that actually started to be reflected in my reality. I was breaking the cycle of my old patterns, my old habits that were a creation of my thoughts. And also on an energetic level, I was just a match for more money. I was a match for an overflow of money. So really, it wasn't until I decided to consciously change my thoughts, to change the way I looked at money, that my financial reality with money easily shifted. And I finally had an overflow. I finally had much more than enough. This waiting for money in order to feel or think or act a certain way is so backwards, because in order to have more money than you have now, you have to think and feel and act like the version of you who has that amount of money already. This isn't to say that you start spending money you don't have, or making irresponsible financial decisions based on your current financial reality. Of course, always use your discretion and your best judgment for your current situation. But on an internal level and a daily action level, you have to start approaching your life like the next level version of you would. Think of it this way. If your next level self, the version of you in the future who has all the money you desire, if they were to hop in a time machine and come back right here in this moment and be plopped into your current life experiences, what would they think? What would they feel? What would they do? Given the resources and the reality you're currently in, what would they do to then move toward the reality that they know they will eventually get to? They would probably have a different mindset, a different energy that they carry, a different daily routine than you currently do now, right? So if you want more money, start thinking, feeling, and acting, start embodying that level of wealth. In doing so, you start to see opportunities for money that you never saw before. And you start to become an energetic match for the wealth you desire right now. And you start to take different actions that will lead to that level of wealth. Plus, you're just gonna feel a whole hell of a lot better if you're not sitting there thinking the same limiting thoughts around money that are keeping you stuck, but instead thinking the thoughts that feel expansive, that feel good, that unlock possibility and optimism in you around your future and what's possible for you. That alone is worth more than the money, in my opinion. And it's also just the most important piece of actually stepping into your next level. All right, so let's sum it up. What can you do to make sure that you do not stay stuck at your current level of wealth? It comes down to this. The thoughts you're currently thinking, the energy you're currently holding, and the actions you're currently taking day in and day out are the things that got you to your current level of wealth. So if you want to get to that new level of wealth, you have to start adopting the thoughts and the feelings and the actions that are congruent with that new level of wealth. Now, I know that that is a lot easier said than done. Like a lot easier said than done. So I have created a brand new free 3-day program called Financial Frequency, where I'm going to walk you through my favorite process for embodying my next level self in that next level of wealth, so that you can do the same for yourself and start shifting your financial reality now. So if you're ready to upgrade your financial frequency, if you want to get a peek at how I have done this for myself to create phenomenal results in my life and business around money, like going from 100K in debt to 100K in the bank, going from struggling to make $2,000 a month in my business to jumping to $20,000 a month overnight in my business. If you want my tricks and tips for doing that so that you can start to do so for yourself through embodiment, then I would love to have you come join the Financial Frequency program. Totally free, my gift to you. All you need to do to get that is just go to the link in the description below this video and click that to sign up for free. Now, until then, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that this either introduced a new idea to you or at least kind of reawakened something you already knew but you weren't fully committing to with embodying your next level of wealth. So be sure to click the like button. Let me know in the comments what you thought and what you took away from this. And of course, be sure to subscribe to my channel so that I can continue to share more free, exciting things with you, like these videos, like my financial frequency program I have coming up for you, and so much more. Thanks for coming and chatting with me today. I'll talk to you soon.